Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the DreamBig Radio. This one is a really good one. I'm really looking forward to it. Today we have Irene Masezerano. She is a Rwandan-based entrepreneur. We actually met last summer in Kigali. I was there with a group from Imperial College, and we were looking for startups that had really innovative ideas of using technology with agriculture. And so we went to meet her, talked a lot about her company, and it was some really interesting stuff. So she popped straight into mind as soon as I thought of launching this podcast. And thankfully, she liked the idea and decided to join me. And today we will find out more about what she is working on. So without further ado, introducing Irene Masezerano. How are you today, Irene?
I'm okay. Thank you for the introduction. It's beautiful. So yeah, I'm really good. I'm doing great.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And so I've teased that you're working on something. So let's start. What is your big idea, Irene?
My big idea, I'm a farmer, first of all. I have a passion for farming. It started long time ago when I was in primary school. I was like 11, 12, something like that. And I grew up with that. I did a bunch of research and I started doing traditional farming, and it wasn't quite successful because of different factors, as we know it, like affecting agriculture and then I decided to. I thought in that instant, what can I do to reverse these effects for me to get my harvest, like to get the reward of my sweat, of my hard working. And then I started doing internet research, reading a lot of agricultural thesis, doing research and watching every video of agriculture on YouTube, visiting farmers, like field research. And then I came up with the idea of farming, which is FarmGenix. That's the name of the company. I saw during my research, I saw how aquaponics farming is done, and it was so beautiful the way it's clean and the technology inclusion in that. And I said, I can do aquaponics here, but not use water, just soil. Do farming in normal soil as we do it, but do it in like using vertical farming going upwards. And then see if I can get the water from the fish tanks to irrigate the crops, and see if I can even do the value chain as well, work on the fertilizer that according to the crops that I grow, have my irrigation system. It's like everything is going to be according to the system, how the system is built. Like it was not an easy research because I had to make a lot of phone calls. I have to write a lot of emails. I have to contact a lot of people, which is not easy when you are when you are a startup, like a new entrepreneur. When you don't have a mentor, you don't have a coach. It's like you're doing everything for yourself.
Yeah.
But everything was worth it so far from the stage that I am on right now, where we started FarmGenix last year, and we started with zero capital. I mean, like this year is zero capital. And then I was able to talk to my friends and family, tell them about my business model. They were interested, and I raised some funds. And after that, I won a grant. And after that, I have already done with the prototyping phase. Now I am on the way of expanding from prototyping phase to expansion. Yes, that's what we work on. So the farm, as I said it, through this, it's a fully automated farm with the sensors. It's sort of half aquaponics, half normal farming because we don't use 100% water. The water just for irrigating the crops, but the crops that are in the soil. So that is what we were working on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been working on this?
I started working on this company last year in 2022 in March. That is when we started. But the operations, we started them in June. So from March to June, we're doing paperwork, business registrations, some researches as well. And then in June, that's when we started with the physical operations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said, or I saw on your LinkedIn that you have an MVP. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. And for anyone that's listening, an MVP is just a minimum viable product.
Yeah.
Something you present to investors to show them your idea, not necessarily the final product, but it encompasses the main points that you think will be in your end product.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, what does an MVP look like for such a huge idea? Do you have like a massive fish farm and loads of soil, or what's going on?
For an MVP, it has to be something small. For us, it's on 4 meters square, which is 1 meter to 4 meters. And we have this small rack, which has 4 layers. And these 4 layers, we have beetroots and lettuces. Those are the ones we started with. And we have a fish tank, which is on the other side, which is like covers 1 meter to 1 meter, which is like pretty much, a meter square. And it has 200 fishes. And we have another part on the other side, which has maggots. I don't know if you know the maggots.
Yeah.
We use maggots for feeding the fishes as an added nutrients we buy food from factories, fish feed, to feed our fishes, because the fertilizer that, apart from the fertilizer that the maggot produce, which we give our lettuces and beetroots, we even give them the fertilizer which is mixed by the water that came from the fish tank. So yeah, and the whole thing that I just said, it's on 1 meter to 4 meters space. It's small, but we have the production is big from what I just said, 200 fishes, beetroots and lettuces, and even mango just on this small space. That's what we are working on. Have a small space, use every resource you have, you can get your hands on, and then have a massive production.
Amazing. And it seems like a lot of the inputs are later being used again. A lot of the waste products are later being used again. Is sort of the circular economy, is that a big part of your idea?
Yes. Circularity, like when we started FarmGenix, we wanted to be like a circular company. We wanted us like not to lose even anything. I mean, there is a way, especially here in Africa, because our circular system is still young. I don't think it's the same like in Europe or in Western countries. We have crops like yield, and then it's too much. And then we have like, we consume like, let's say 60%, and then 40% goes to waste. We don't want that to happen, because as our growth, as our yield, let's say we have some lettuces, as I said, and then we bring some lettuces to the market, and then some others we have that didn't go to the market and that are starting to lose their freshness. We just blend them, we mix them with some other compost from home, and then we feed them the maggots. That the maggots
Okay.
give us the food to feed the fishes and the fertilizer to give the plants. So it's a circular thing. We don't have anything that goes to waste. So yes, that's the circularity in FarmGenix.
Okay. That's great. And so no waste. Is the productivity massively boost? Are you seeing that on your in your MVP? There's a big boost in productivity.
Yes. Like for now, we have apart from the 200 fishes that we have, we planted 50 heads of lettuces and 50 heads of beetroots in that small space. We started doing sales last week. Our first batch of lettuces has left, and now we have planted some more again, where we are waiting for other lettuces to grow because we grow them according to that there is a month between them. This month we plant this, the next month we plant that, like in different layers, so that we have production all the time. And then for the beetroots, we have not yet started selling them because they take a period of 3 months for them to grow. And we planted them in the middle of November. So by the end of Feb, we start selling the beetroots as well. So like from these MVP that we have of ours, so that's the production we have. But for the fishes, they still have time because they take 6 to 7 months for them to be ready for the market. It's going to
Okay.
be end of April, beginning of May. That's when we'll start selling the fishes. So that's the production.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that the African community in London is very known for, and what I realize is as well that every all the ingredients has to be the best, the biggest flavors. So is everything from FarmGenix going to be just bursting with flavor? No, nothing low low flavor profile at all.
Yes, it do has a good flavor. Like for the lettuces, the other day I did, apart from me selling them, I took like 3 heads and then I did myself a salad. It was really good. I was so happy because like taking a small seed, put it in the soil, and then giving it 100% organic fertilizer, like everything is
Yeah,
organic. So it's
everything's
like I was
organic.
like, oh my
Amazing.
God, I am eating something that I am so sure that it didn't need any synthetic fertilizers or pesticide. This is so amazing. So for the flavor, of course, because it is organic, it does have flavor. So yeah, like we love our flavor, we love our spices.
Yeah, I can imagine that felt good. It's not like you didn't just plant the seeds, you literally built the entire garden.
Yes, yes.
That's amazing. So this is like a really revolutionary idea. This changes farming a lot. How do you see it in Rwanda or in the wider context of farming in Africa or the world? This is a huge alteration wherever you are in the world, not just Rwanda or Africa.
Yeah. How I see it in Rwanda, it's new. We have some farms that does close to what I'm doing, but for them,
Okay.
just growing, like doing hydroponic 100% using water, just no fishes involved. For the fertilizer, they get fertilizers from outside. They don't get them like particularly from the maggots or whatever. They don't have like the whole circular system as I am doing.
Mm,
So for this, I see it as a hub of reversing agriculture effects. I see it as a beauty of like a new phase of agriculture because if I can have this production on this small space, like it's something you can do it anywhere. You can even put it in your room because where it is, where I put my rack, it's like in a completely cemented place. And it means you can put it anywhere. So it's like I see it is in Rwanda. It's new. I have not yet put it outside because we're still on the prototyping phase, but which is ending by May when we start harvesting our fishes, and then in June, that's when we are doing expansion, going big. And in Africa, we do have a very serious problem of malnutrition, and even in Rwanda per se, because for now, the rate of malnutrition in Rwanda is 35% in children who are under 5%. And the rate of stunting is 38%, means 38% of Rwandans, they have low food, like protein or nutritious food. So this small space, these crops that we have, or this yield that we have, it's not going to remove this malnutrition or stunting like forever, but it's going to at least reduce the rate. Even if FarmGenix can work and then our yield reduces 1%, it's a big victory, like it's a huge victory. So if Rwandans and Africans come together and then they work on this system, it will do wonders. It will do wonders and it will reduce the food insecurity. Yes, that's how I see it.
That's amazing, and yeah, you've really targeted an amazing area. And just if anyone listening doesn't know or hasn't been to Africa, Rwanda is it's a standout place. Kigali is a brilliant city, and it is one of the most developed countries in Africa. So the numbers they're quite startling. So just in this related to this area, this is a very new system. What is the cost involved? Does it make the produce expensive, or will it actually bring down prices?
For the cost, it's capital intensive to make to build the system, because you need different pipes to deliver water from the fish tanks to the crops. You need the sensors. You need to put it in the greenhouse because it's protected by a greenhouse. Studying it is capital intensive, but selling the crops, we sell it on the normal market price here in Rwanda, because we don't want to go above, because if we go above, we won't be solving any problem. And we are working on to see, as I told you, I told you I want to link up with that friend of yours from Kenya. We are trying to see how we can make our own fertilizer, and then like our own formula, and even find out how we can make our own fish feed instead of buying them from a factory. We have already bought this pellet making machine from China, which is big ship to Rwanda. And when this machine get here, particularly, the cost of fish is going to reduce by 1,500, which is Rwandan money, which is like $1.5. Which means our cost that we are going to sell our fish on is going to go down. And even for the vegetables, the cost is going to go down, the selling cost is going to go down, because we have our formula, and this formula is the one we use to make sure that our fishes and our crops grow. So, and you might ask yourself, like, how are you going to break even? Because you invested too much money to make the whole setup. But we plan of breaking even after 2 years, 2.5 years. That's when we say we broke even, and now we are starting to make profits, because we don't want to oversell the products, and we want to see how we can reduce the prices, which is our main target. It might not happen in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years coming, but we want to see prices of food stable. It's like now it's not stable, it fluctuates according to seasons. This season's 1 kilogram of potatoes is $1. Next season is $2. It's crazy, right? But we want to make it stable, because you can produce anytime and the cost is low because of the way you made your system and the formulas that you use in your system as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. One of the big factors that we came across in Rwanda, speaking to farmers, was that one of their largest costs was fertilizer. And because we were there last year during the Russia-Ukraine war, for natural gas and fertilizer was going crazy. So people were struggling, even with government subsidized fertilizers.
Yeah.
Does your FarmGenix system, how does it reduce the cost of fertilizer, or reduce the amount of fertilizer that a farm needs?
As I said, how we make our fertilizer, we have this formula which is mainly made up of like excretes from the maggots, and you see at home you have different stuff, like you peel tomatoes and then you just throw them away. We don't throw them away, we keep them. These
Okay.
are the stuff we take, we blend them all together, like everything which is like this stuff that you throw away from from your chicken, I mean,
Yeah.
your kitchen. We just blend them together, we add in some other components, and then we have our fertilizer.
Okay.
So that is how we make it. And honestly, I'm going to tell you this. This is last week, my lettuces started losing their greenish color.
Okay.
And then I was like, what is happening here? I called one of my agronomists. I told him, like, the lettuces are turning to lose their greenish color. What is happening? What can I do? He told me a couple of recommendation of stuff I have to do. He's like, adding like some little fertilizer, or he told me what I can do. Are you sure they have water? Are you sure, like, what and what? Then I was like, okay, let me do exactly what he told me to do. I put on, we have this fertilizer that we're still working on. It's like a pesticide, but it's not yet, it's still in the making. It's from the maggots as well. And mushrooms and cabbages. That's how we make it, but it's liquid. I took it, I sprayed it on the lettuces. The following day, they were green as normal. I was like, this is amazing. I just took everything that I have, mushroom, lettuce, mushroom, cabbages, and some of the maggots that I blended. I mixed it and took the water. I just sprayed it on it. It's like, oh my God, this is the pesticide. This is so amazing. So it's like agriculture is a very interesting and fun sector to be in, which is super tricky
Hmm.
as well. It's like I am
Yeah.
growing stuff and even at the same time having fun. I didn't know that would happen, and now I'm like, okay, now I see what is happening next time. Ooh, I don't need to make a call. So yes, it does reduce the cost because you buy cabbages to cook at your plate at your home.
Mhm.
You buy mushrooms. Okay, for the maggots, you can't buy maggots if you are not a farmer because they're just for,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they do really reduce the cost of the fertilizer, so which is still in the making. Um, and the beauty of it is Rwanda and the whole Africa, they have taken new measures of increasing the agricultural output. So, and hopefully we are going to break these food insecurity issue because it is so big. It's so big in
Yeah.
Rwanda. I just told you the rate of malnutrition. There's other countries where it's worse, where you can find it in 50, 60% in one country. So yeah.
Yeah. That's the I love the vision and the goal, and Yeah, it's really exciting. It's really exciting that you're going for it. So I'd just like to know more about the team you have. Like who else who are these other people that are trying to build this incredible farming system and do everything that you want to do with it?
For now, we have three on my team. Okay, apart from the board of directors and advisors, I do have a lot of those. But for people who work on the farm, let's say part time, okay, I am the one working full time, but I have two other friends who work part time. We have one who is software engineer. He's the one who takes care of the software part, the sensors, the whole automation part. And then we have another one who takes care of the finances. Uh, yeah, she's the one who's in charge of the finances, the accountings, and the petty cash, everything concerning the finance. So yeah, but from the other operations like marketing, operations, everything is pretty much on my head. Yeah.
You're the mastermind.
Oh, I am. Yeah, being in a startup, you can't afford having too many people on a team
Of course. Yeah.
because you need to pay them,
Hmm.
and we don't have that capital of paying employees or people on the company. So I just have to do everything. I put on like every cap for me to see if I can advance this. And it's been really, really working because if I measure the impact and the milestone that we have already achieved, that just us three who work on the company and then my team of advisors and the board of directors who give us like daily advice, like advice on what we need to do, what we don't have to do, how to behave, how to talk, like everything. Um, we are really quite doing very, very well. So yeah, I can't be ashamed to say that I'm proud of ourselves.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Um, you're so people wise. Are you going to be taking on more people soon, or is it's a slow road for progression on that front?
Taking more people means expansion, and
Yeah.
if we expand, that means I will need more people on the team,
Hmm.
according to the level of expansion we have, and that means capital income in the company, and that means, yeah, you see the beauty of everything. So yes, we plan to having more people as we keep expanding.
Okay. And on the capital availability, what, are there a lot of funding options? Do you see a lot of avenues to go down to get more capital
Mm.
before you start generating revenue?
So far, apart from the investment that I raised from family and friends, I raised a grant of $3,000 last year. Uh,
Hey,
I
congrats.
know, right? Thank you. In November. Yes, with this investment, we bought machines, some equipment we needed, so for us to keep expanding our prototyping and even trying to see if we can start making sales pretty sooner from this money that we received. And then other parts of funding, I'm in discussions with different corporations that provide grants. Because for now, we are looking for grants, and doesn't mean that if you are I don't know, like a VC, venture capital. Of course, we can take you in depending by your offer and your demands. But for now, getting the capital is not easy, especially in a company that is in agriculture. It is not
Yeah.
easy because it's a risky industry to be in. So,
Hmm.
but it's really working. And since we started making sales, there is a hope that we are going to get capital or investment in the company because every investor or every humanitarian, they want to invest in a company that is making sales because it's a proof that what you are offering is needed on the market. So yes, it's working.
Brilliant.
Mhm.
Brilliant. You don't often get startups where it all seems very positive. It seems difficult. You've got a long way to go, but
Yeah.
it seems positive. Or you've got a very positive outlook, which is brilliant.
Thank you very much.
So I was just wondering, are there many other startups in this space?
Yes, there are. There's a lot of startups here in Rwanda who are working in different industries, different corners, making different solutions, and it's really good. It's encouraging because you see that you are not the only one going through that path. There's a lot of you who are going in the same path. So if I am down or I am facing some kind of difficulties, I know exactly like who to talk to because they have been on this path before me or they are experiencing the same thing. It's like we counsel each other. Like you give me counseling, I give you counseling, and we tell each other like, hey, let's keep pushing and we are going to do that. So there's a lot working on different, very beautiful solutions, and I pray we all make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. From from speaking to just friends that are founders, those founder therapy sessions with other founders seem to be they're very valuable. Whenever they have a problem, they just go to someone else that's done it all before and just go through it, and they tell them it's all going to be okay.
Yeah,
And
it's
stop
so
freaking.
therapeutical. It's so therapeutic. So they tell you like, oh, I see. Just keep your feet on the ground and your eyes on the road. Everything is going to be okay. Yeah.
Oh God, that's brilliant. And so just to finish up, I ask every founder on this podcast if there are some other startups, one or two other startups that you think are really impressive that you want to shout out and that I you think would be great for me to have on this podcast or to reach out. So, did you have any names that come to mind?
Yes, I know there's one startup called To the Right. I linked you with her the other time. She's
Oh yes,
working
yes.
on a very amazing project, which is like you are tired or you went to have fun with your friends at the club and you don't want to ride because you have some amount of alcohol or whatever in your system, and she just link you with someone who's nearby who can drive you from this place to that place and vice versa. And even if you just want like a chauffeur for the day or a two or a month, so that is a very good innovation, especially here in Africa, because I don't there is I think there is only few countries in Africa where this innovation is at, but in East Africa, I don't think so. We have Uber, we have okay, let's say Uber, that's one we have, but we don't have these private riders who you trust, say, I trust this person to take me from here to there, and without me feeling insecure or them feeling insecure. So that's her I can shout out to. And another company is called UKC. They are working on a solution of providing animal feed, but using fodders, which is a very huge problem in Africa because you have your cows or your sheep or your goats, but you travel miles and miles for you to get grass to feed them. And by the time you get back, there's so many time went by. There's a lack of time management in here. But for them, they just do it hydroponically. You can just do it in your backyard. It's pretty much of what I'm working on, but for them,
Hmm.
it's for animals. Yeah, it's for feeding your
Okay.
goats, it's for feeding your cows. They have made a lot of like a big impact here in Rwanda because they are a startup as well. They started 2 years ago, and they have solved a big issue of animals not getting the feed, which is pretty much, and the big majority of Rwandans and even Africans are farmers. And
Yeah.
the problem is, if we are farmers and we have a problem of food insecurity, what is happening here? There's something we
Yeah.
definitely lack. We lack innovation, we lack
Hmm.
creativity. So these people like UKC, they are a pillar to us fighting these food insecurity through milk, eggs, meat, everything sort of like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's brilliant. And just to highlight how central agriculture is to Africa, I was looking at the numbers, I think two days ago, and for the whole continent of Africa, 60% of the population is involved directly in agriculture. And I think Burundi was the highest. So just south of Rwanda, it was 86% of the population is involved in agriculture. So all these startups, everyone that's working in this area has huge potential in the agriculture industry in Africa, which is predicted to reach about $1 trillion by 2030. So
Yeah,
yeah, these are definitely got people to watch.
That's what Mr. De Silva, the president of our African Development Bank, always says. It's like we have a huge farming land, we have time, we have manpower, like laborers,
Yeah,
there is investment coming in,
yeah,
and this industry is worth I think billion USD. Is it billion or trillion? I don't know.
trillion,
Yeah,
trillion,
trillion
the bigger
dollars.
one.
$1 trillion. And I was like, when you said that, I was like, I need 1% of that trillion. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I need to own at least the minimum is 1%. I need it. So, yes, that is like revenue monthly, by the way. It's not per year, the 1%. So, that's my motivation. Not saying like apart from loving agriculture, apart from the passion,
Yeah,
apart from whatever, that same number is my other motivation. It's like I need that. I need to change something.
yeah,
Like in the future that we plan, we're still designing these. We want in 3 to 4 years coming, we want to start providing these agriculture classes or courses which are introductory farming to primary and high school students.
okay,
We're still
okay,
figuring out how we are going to do that. But we have a very large plan because as I started, I had this passion when I was in primary school. So many people discouraged me, especially my parents and my family and friends. They were like, no, 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 you're going to be a doctor. I was like, nope, I'm going to be a farmer. So they, it's not because it's not just they meant to bad, or they didn't want me to chase my dream and be successful in agriculture, it's
Uh-huh.
because they don't have a good experience with agriculture.
Yeah.
So I want to help as many kids as possible. If let's say in 3 million of students in Rwanda who are in primary school right now, if I
Yeah.
can get 10% of those, which is 300,000 children who are interested in agriculture, and then in these children, I can get 1% who are 300 children who grows to be professional farmers. Oh my God, I'll have achieved my long last dream. So we want to even introduce this in schools, have this more set up in schools where we can provide courses to children, and then they will grow to be farmers or something else, but have these
Hmm.
skills of farming. Yeah, where they can, you are a lawyer, like a very successful lawyer, but you have a small set up at your home where you get those onions, where you get those tomatoes or fish or whatever. That's just, yeah. So that is what we want to do.
That's brilliant. And they'll have all the modern tools that FarmGenix and
Yes,
some of the other companies that you've mentioned are designing.
yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's talking to you just makes the future seem a little bit brighter, you know?
It is brighter. It is brighter. I need to wear my shades for me to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, this has been absolutely brilliant, Irene. Given me some really, really great insight into what you're doing and into just the general evolution of the agriculture space in Africa. It's very, very exciting stuff. And yeah, thank you for joining me. This has been great.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure to link you up with Safi Organics, was the fertilizer company.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for your
My pleasure.
invitation to be second. I'm number 2, right? On this podcast. I love it. Thank you very much. I look forward to you growing big and bigger, and I love to see young people work hard to achieve
Hmm.
their dreams, and I love to see them supporting each other. I love to support people in any way that I can because I don't want to achieve my dreams alone. I want to go with everyone. I want to see people grow from this stage to that stage. So it was pretty much amazing to when I met you in Rwanda, I was like, okay. And then when you reached out, I was like, okay, let me see what is going on here. And when you proposed this particular podcast, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Let me do it. Yeah, so just big up.
Thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Hasn't?
Oh, it was so much fun, trust me.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant, and it was so much fun talking to you. The energy behind the idea, everything I needed for this,
Yeah,
make me want to keep doing it.
of course.
Okay, okay. I'm just gonna stop the recording now.